Yo, what it do, Ghost Nation? It's your boy Ghost. Welcome back to another episode, another Star Wars Mandalorian episode. Now, on this episode, we are on episode 6, chapter 14, called The Tragedy. Now, I love this episode. I still think episode 5 was actually better than this episode, but I still love this episode. This episode was fantastic, man. Now, we get to the beginning of the episode where we see Mando is in the ship in his Razor Crest, and they're on their way to the planet where it's an ancient site called Tython. Now that's where Ahsoka Tano told Mando that this is where you need to take the child so he could summon the Force, and somebody who's in the Force would notice him. A Jedi would notice him and pick up that signal and know exactly where the child is and try and go after him. So this is exactly what Mando did. By the beginning of the episode, we see him in his ship, and they're on their way to Tython. Now, when he was on his way to Tython, he's there playing with the child, playing with his name. Grogu, he just keeps saying it. And the child just perks up, and the child is all perky and happy and everything, you know what I'm saying? But they're playing with that ball again that he has. It's like a little silver ball that he has on one of his ship's mechanisms. I think it's like the gear shifter or something. So he gives it back to the child. Then he takes it from the child, and he says his name again, Grogu. Grogu uses the Force and pulls that ball back to him, and it's just a chemistry. It's so beautiful to see that kind of chemistry that Mandalorian has with the child, with Grogu. I'm still getting used to that name, Grogu. You know what I'm saying? It's taking me a minute, but I love that name. Now, this episode was directed by Robert Rodriguez, and I loved it. You know, you still had the writer Jon Favreau on it, but Robert Rodriguez directed this episode. Then it goes to the open credits. After open credits, now we get to the planet Tython, and we see the ancient site. We see the pillars, the stones. Now, in the middle of the stones, it's like a circular stone ancient site. In the middle of that, that's where you see a little resting area where Grogu gets to be put on. So Mando puts Grogu on that little stone, and he's like, okay, so what's the instructions? What do I do now? Lo and behold, all they had to do was just put Grogu on that stone. Grogu knew exactly what to do. Mando went around to scope out the rest of the area, make sure nobody was following them. Grogu put his little hands, his little 3 fingers on the stone. Boom. Instant access to the Force, man. It was cool to see that, man. I love Star Wars so much. It was so awesome to see that because, let me tell y'all, I love the Force. I love Jedis. I love the Sith. I love everything about it. Of course, my favorite character is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite Jedi, but I love Darth Vader. I love the Sith. I love all of that too. Darth Maul is another one of my favorite characters. So it was just so great to see the Force being used again in its full entirety. So I want to know what path. I wish I knew what path Grogu chose, and we see that later on. So I think I know what path he chose because we see that later on in this episode. And we're going to touch on that. So now all of a sudden we see a actual cruise ship coming, a little cruise ship coming, and you know whose cruise ship that is because of the way that it travels. It travels linear, it travels vertical. So you know that was Boba Fett coming after Mando because he's been tracking Mando since season 1. We knew that was Boba Fett because his cruise ship is a small little cruise ship that could fit like 1, maybe 2 people in it, and it travels downward. So it travels like a T. So that was him. It was great to see that because he wants his armor back. He finally meets up with Mando. Because Mando went down to look to see who's this following me, because Mando never knew. Boba Fett, he kept his distance throughout the whole season. So Mando gonna go check out to see, okay, who is this dude? Great to see Boba Fett. He has like this new gear on. He has these new weapons like a sniper rifle. He has his staff, like this bone staff that's very strong. It could pierce the stormtrooper's armor. Oh, Boba Fett went off when he was taking out them stormtroopers, man. But he finally approaches Mando. Mando, come from my armor. He said, who are you? Are you with the Creed? He said, no, but that armor belongs to my father, Jango Fett. I'm his son, Boba Fett, and that's my armor. But Mando didn't want to believe him. He didn't know what to do. So all of a sudden, we see that, if you don't give me back that armor, I'm going to have my sniper take out your little creature, your little child over there, over on that Stonehenge. Lo and behold, that sniper was Fennec. Now, if y'all don't remember, Fennec was the one that was left behind for death. She got cut in her abdomen. She was left on the sands of Tatooine. And Boba Fett was the one that rescued her. We saw somebody walking towards her at the end credits of that episode. It was Boba Fett. I thought it was another Mandalorian because it had like the spurs or whatever. You could hear the boots of the spurs. But I think that was Cobb Vanth or somebody that got her. I don't know. Cobb Vanth was the one that had Boba Fett's armor. Maybe he rescued her. I don't know. But I think it was Boba. Even Boba Fett said it. Every once in a while, a wretch has to be saved. And he was a wretch who was left for dead in the sands of Tatooine. Because if y'all remember, Han Solo, he accidentally hit Boba Fett's jetpack, and Boba Fett went flying off. The whole jetpack blew up or whatever, and he landed into that freaking Sarlacc pit or whatever, and the Sarlacc was killing him or whatever, or eating him. That's what we thought. But Boba Fett escaped. I don't know how he got out, but he was able to get out, and now we have him now. So it was just great to see that Boba Fett and then Fennec is alive, and Boba Fett rescued her, and she was able to get help. She removed a little piece of her garment, and you could see that now she's part robot, part human. So she was saved by Boba Fett, and he got her somewhere in the galaxy. He got her help. That was awesome to see that. Fennec is awesome. I love Ming-Na Wen. She's the original Mulan. I love Ming-Na Wen. So it's good to see her back, and she's still badass. Now we start to see these stormtroopers. How in the hell did they know where freaking Grogu and Mando were? How did they know where that ancient site was? Who tipped them off? Oh, that's right. There was a tracker in Mando's ship. One of those repairmen left the tracker in the ship, so they knew exactly how to track them. That's what I forgot, y'all. I forgot. You know, sometimes you have to go back and watch episodes. I didn't. I tune in every week to watch Mando. But yeah, he had to go back. They had a tracker. They put a tracker in Mando's Razor Crest ship. That's how the stormtroopers, that's how the Imperial ship was, the Imperial cruiser was able to track Mando and the child. Oh my gosh. All you see was these random ships coming out of nowhere. All these stormtroopers was coming out. And I love the battle. I love the battle between Fennec, Mando, Boba Fett, and the stormtroopers. It was crazy, crazy good. Like I said, Boba Fett was killing it with that staff that he had. He had a sniper rifle, but he had this other staff and had like this little pike or something at the end of it. He was stabbing them stormtroopers and ripping their armor off, man. Oh, he was badass. He didn't even need his armor. But when he finally got his armor, he was even more badass because he was blowing up all the stormtroopers, blasting him with his little blaster, and then he had these little cannons on his armor. Oh my gosh, it was so good to see him back in that armor. And then when the stormtroopers finally retreated, because Fennec and Mando were just picking them off one by one, they get back into their ships. Both ships take off, and then all of a sudden you just see Boba Fett lock on with his little scope. He had that one missile in his jetpack. Boom, blew up both ships. And he goes and playoffs and said, oh, I was aiming for the other ship. I got the wrong ship. Yeah, come on, man. You knew what you were doing, bro. You knew what you were doing. Oh, it was so epic. And then we finally get to the scene where we see the Imperial ship finally come into focus. And all you see is a freaking cannon, a blaster cannon, go right after Mando's ship. After those two stormtrooper ships were blown up, you see Mando's ship get blown up. Oh, there goes the Razor Crest. What the hell? It was freaking Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon, he was there to get the child. He was going to do whatever he could to get the child. So what he did, he summoned the Dark Troopers to go out and get the child. 4 Dark Troopers in their little I don't know, they had like shoes, jetpacks or whatever. They flew down, got the child. Mando tried to get back to the ancient site to get the child with Fennec. That they were too slow because Mando took off his jetpack. He couldn't fly there fast enough. He couldn't run fast enough. The child was taken by Moff Gideon. The 4 Dark Troopers took him back to the ship. Boba Fett was tracking him. He said, I'm going to do a loose follow. I'm going to hold back. I'm going to hang back a little bit. See where they're going. The freaking Empire is back. Yes, there's a new republic, but the Empire has not completely fallen. Yes, Darth Vader was killed. Yes, we see the Death Star get blown up, but the Imperial ship, there's probably a few more Imperial ships out there. We don't know. But Moff Gideon is the leader now, and I think he's working under General Admiral Thrawn. I always say Thrawn. I don't know why. But I think he's working with General Admiral Thrawn. Who knows? But we see that Moff Gideon has finally gotten the child. He goes into the prisoner bay in the Imperial cruiser, and he's looking at the child. The child is using Force Ghost to freaking play and choke out these stormtroopers. And Moff Gideon just like, hang back, don't stop the child yet. Let's see what he does. And then the child takes both stormtroopers, has them with the Force choke, slams them into each other, knocks them out. Now the child is so tired and so weak. Moff Gideon is there talking to him. Have you ever seen this dark saber before? Do you know what it's for? I don't think you can handle this because you're too weak and too sleepy. Now let's put you on a permanent sleep. He summoned one of his henchmen, one of his goons, to blast him to make him go to sleep. So they fired this circular blaster at freaking Grogu, the child. He goes to sleep. They put cuffs on him. And they said, okay, when we get out of hyperspace, he tells one of his lieutenants, when we get out of hyperspace, tell Dr. Pershing, okay, we have a donor. We have the child, and we're coming for you. I guess he's trying to make more clones or more, I guess, soldiers, but to use the blood of Grogu, he's going to use the blood of Grogu to make that happen. It was crazy, man. Now, we see that Mando has to now go back, and he went to Navarro. He had to go back there because he had to talk to Cara Dune. I need to find a prisoner. I need to talk to Mags. He's one of the prisoners that I helped put away. I need him to help me find out where this Imperial cruiser is going to. Where are they going to next? So he had Cara Dune. Cara Dune said, I have these stripes now, man. There's only so many things I could do. I have to follow these orders. And then as soon as Mando said they got the child, Cara Dune threw all that out the window. She said, I'll help you, Mando. Whatever it takes to get that child back to you. That child is safe with you. And that's how the episode ends. I love it, man. Oh, what a great episode. It was great to see Boba Fett in his full form, full peak form, in the full armor. Oh, that Beskar armor that he got on is still badass. He's still a Mandalorian, well, whether or not that he was a Mandalorian. His father was a foundling. So he's going to be breaded in the Mandalorian lore. He's going to know all about Mandalorian because his father was a foundling. Not only was his father a foundling, Jango Fett, but his father fought in the Civil War with the Mandalorians. We saw that Civil War, I think in Rebels, there was a Civil War with the Mandalorians. We saw a little piece of that. So it was just great to see that, man. This episode was fantastic. I love that Fennec is alive and she's enhanced. She's part human, part robotic. So she is enhanced. Great episode, Ghost Nation. Y'all need to go watch this. Sorry I'm bringing y'all this review mad late. I mean, I'm going to have to bring it to y'all late, at least 2 or 3 days late from when it airs because I work pretty much on that day that it comes out. So I don't really watch it until like Saturday night, Sunday. Like I watched it today, Sunday. So I watched it. As soon as I watch it, I want to be fully engaged to make sure that I bring y'all this full review for it, man. All right, Ghost Nation, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share the Ghost movies. And until next time, Ghost will see you in another video. Peace.